We do. I'm a traditionalist, so I held the reins back a little bit on everyone, but also let them go in the right direction they felt like we needed to go. So the direction was be fearless, and let's look at everything and take a clean slate of things and see where we go.
We were really looking to evolve how we positioned ourselves forward and to really kind of match what the McNairs had challenged us to do. And so going through that process, talked to a lot of different people, and Doug obviously stuck out, and the way he thought about things, I think, was unique, something we hadn't really experienced before as an organization.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it was about a 2-year process all in, but I would say 6 months of that was just research and talking to fans. So I joined the organization in May of 2022, and coming in, Cal McNair, Chair and CEO, had said, we want to evolve, and we want to fearlessly evolve. We want to change the culture, and we want to become the new Texans. If you know our history, his father, Bob McNair, had ran the team for most of its time, and then Cal came into power after his unfortunate passing. And there comes a time in that transition where your new chair and CEO says, I want to honor the past and all the work my family did, but I want to start making this my Texans and my new Texans.
The uniforms are great, the logo's great, but we wanted something new and fresh.
Something traditional and something a little more aggressive and something really H-Town centric. So we tried to listen and have something for everyone in the closet.
Jan 1, 23, all the research, all the process, all the alignment with Nike and NFL to get it done. And then say, all right, if we hit this paperwork on the 1st, can we get it done for the 2024 season? Which is way faster than the normal cycle. Y'all know it takes 2 to 3 years most times to get a uniform done. And they're like, if we do it this fast, and you're willing to make fast decisions, we can get it done in under a year and a half.
I think what the process and the way we accelerated is that we had a really good sense from some of those early trials with the t-shirts at training camp and some of the other things. We kind of knew what the market needed and wanted, probably a better way to say it.
With any change, you're going to get people who don't like it. I think that when you did the process the way we did the process, you're incorporating what the fans asked for, and they'll be able to see their input on the uniforms, which I think will mean more to them. And I think that when you just try to do it yourself and put it out there without any thought to it, or as much thought to it with the fans in mind, I don't think you're setting yourself up for success with your fan base.
We wanted everybody's input. We talked to a lot of our former players. We talked to different influencers and people who really drive culture in the city of Houston. So from our current players to our employees, to our fans, to our former players, our legends, to influencers. Again, we wanted every voice represented in as many different ways as we can. Over 10,000 different surveys filled out, 50 different focus groups, and really just gathering information and trying to kind of synchronize it all together to get to the outcome that we did.
A lot of people assume the team designs the uniforms. And at the end of the day, Nike does, right? Nike are the experts in global fashion, the experts in sportswear and how teams look, and they even have that future look of what's coming 5-10 years down the line from a color perspective, a fabric perspective, a performance perspective. So you brief them. So you tell them, like, here's what's important in a uniform, in our case 4 uniforms, here's what we'd like you to solve for, and then they come back with proposed designs. So you don't, as the club, you don't actually give them any design work. What sometimes you see is a team take one uniform template and apply it across 3 to 4 uniforms, right? So you end up with your home that looks the same as the away, that looks the same as your alternate, just in different colors, right? So what we were hearing from the fans didn't lead us to that path. So you had 2 pockets that were very traditional, one that was like, normal cut and dry, and one that's like, let's push it a little bit. Then you had another pocket of fans that said, hey, like, all the Texans gear I buy, it's got a bullhead on it. That's your logo. We're the bull team. So when they look at some maybe other helmets or jerseys in the league, right, whether you look at the Bengals, where you look at the Rams, where you can see the team name influences striping, the team name influences helmet decaling. Those fans said to us, can you embrace the bull more? You have this gift here of the bull, right? Can you play with that more visually on a uniform? And then you had your last group of fans that said, okay, this is H-Town. So similar to what you're seeing in all the other leagues uniform, right? You're seeing City Connect, City Edition, a special part of the closet that's dedicated to the city you play in, it's not really typically part of the NFL model, at least right now. So we said, can we take a fourth uniform and kind of make it our own city edition in lieu of having an official program? First things first is that brand new home uniform. The home uniform is the one dedicated to that pocket of fans who said, we want traditional, we want classic, we want simple. So that's the one dedicated to them. And when you look at it, you're seeing a very simple but well thought out uniform design. The first thing everyone's going to notice is the blue color is richer and darker than our current color. The why behind that is really interesting that a lot of people don't realize. It's not just because we wanted to use a darker blue. When the team was unveiled, the original colors, the original logo, right, by Bob McNair on stage, the blue was actually darker. It was more of a blue-black or a midnight blue. If you look at our blue today, it's navy. So how do we get there, right? Partially you get there through uniform process. When you have a blue-black color back in 2000, maybe Reebok as the partner at the time couldn't match the color, right? And then when the league switched to Nike, also couldn't match that rich of a color. But can they match navy? Yes. And that's how you end up, although teams have different Pantones and shades, when it comes to uniform, the blue might look a lot to the Bears blue, to the Pats blue, or whoever else, because you're working with a limited amount of fabrics, right? Luckily, when we told Nike, like, hey, like, we kind of want to go back to our original, like, as this club was intended to have. And they said, guess what, guys? We actually have a new blue. We have a new blue that we can match that color better than ever before. And better yet, you could be the first and maybe only team to have that blue. Sign us up. And on the whites, you could see we took tradition, but made it more modern. And maybe had a little bit of bull in there. And when I say that is when you see the uniform from the back and the side, it looks like a clean white uniform, and it looks like a shoulder stripe, like a two-color shoulder stripe, blue, red, blue. But when you catch it from the three-quarter, you catch it from the front, it actually tapers into a bullhorn. So when you catch it from the front, you're like, oh, it's a very traditional uniform. You get to the front, you're like, oh, okay, Texans, I see what you're doing. So that's the first time we get a little bit more bull in there, but the uniform still feels very classic and traditional with a modern twist. Then you can see on the alternate side of the closet, we start getting a little bit wild, right? To answer those fans that say, I want bold, I want loud, right? I love crazy, loud uniforms. Can we answer that? So the first one is our battle red uniform. That's your first alternate. It's based on the away template. So we're using that bull theme on it. So if you got the bull theme on the white, you got your bold red bull on the right side of the closet for that alternative. So you're seeing a really bold red color. You're seeing that same horn effect coming from the back to the front with them pointed up. And the helmet though is the showpiece on this one. So the helmet, of course, is, we're gonna call it red all day, right? It is candy paint to an extreme. So again, the amount of layers, the amount of flake. People loved our last Battle Red helmet when they saw the amount of detail in that paint job. This one is probably 3-4x the amount of detail on that one. So you have a brand new paint job on it with a whole lot more flake. To the front of that, you have a chrome face mask. We know not many teams anymore are using chrome face masks, right? But we have a chrome face mask on that. Now imagine kind of this car theme again. Some of the guys like to wear those tinted visors. So you got candy paint, you got chrome, and you got dark visor. Sounds a lot like a car to me, right? So you can kind of see the juxtaposition of, call it, city-state culture here. So if that home one is based more on our core colors, which are based on the Texas flag, the color rush uniform is based on H-Town. So you kind of see same template, one is state, one city. And to find that kind of that city edition or H-Town pride, you're really seeing two things on that. First is the incorporation of light blue, which we call H-Town blue for our brand to honor our city. So you're seeing it used as an accent. So around stitching, around numbers, whatever it may be, to bring in a little bit of that local flavor because that's what fans wanted. So how could we incorporate and honor the blue without it kind of overtaking our core brand and our DNA? So it's in there now, right? It's part of us, it's an accent. So a lot of local people are gonna love that we're celebrating local culture with that, number one. Number two, you're gonna see recolored bull. So we even went that step on shoulders to recolor our own logo, which we've never done on a uniform. So now the one on that uniform is again that rich blue-black with H-Town blue and a red eye this time for that star. When you see that thing, it's tough. It is really tough. It's menacing looking and it's a really cool new look, playing it off the home look and now the city edition look. And then you get to that helmet. That's again another showpiece for this thing. First we'll go to the paint job. You have a dark, rich, high gloss blue-black again. It's the same base as the home, but instead of just using a blue flake, we now went with a red flake. So from a distance, it looks like a normal helmet. You catch that thing in the lights and catch that thing up front, wow. You're gonna see all that red flake to really help that thing pop and look different. And then on the side of the helmet, again, trying something different, we put an H logo on the side of the helmet. Because at the end of the day, right, there's so much camera time spent on that helmet. We wanted to make sure we could rep our city in the utmost way. And yes, although there's a patch on the back of the jersey with the H, once it's on the helmet, that is showing our city how much we're embracing their feedback to be like, rep the H. Rep the H as much as you can because there's so much H-Town pride. So we got that same logo on the side of the helmet in H-Town blue.
I'm excited to see their reaction. I'm excited to see their touch on it and them see that. I'll be nervous, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little anxious at the reaction, but I think it's going to be wonderful. I can't wait to see them all in the stands in the new jerseys, which will be fun to see it on individuals more than just our players, and to fill the stadium with the new jerseys. I think that'll be really fun, especially when you have your battle red game and the entire stadium's in the new battle red jerseys. I think that'll be really cool.
It'll be awesome.
I really love our traditional blue uniform with white pants, and I think this modernization of it will definitely be that. So I would say, I'm not sure I'm most excited about that one, but that one just feels the most, feels like home, if you will.
You know, we went into the process for fans and said, well, are they going to gravitate towards the mall? Maybe not, because we're trying to design something for everyone based on their feedback. So fans that want bold and crazy, they may not appreciate the home and away as much. For fans that wanted classic, they may not appreciate the alternate and color rush as much, right? So it's a hard toss. I think it's all individual bias and where you stand. I'm a bit of a bold, loud guy, so for me, I'm all day about the alternate colors and the color rush and things like that.
Well, first of all, I want them to look and say, hey, that's our Texans. You know, recognize the uniform and say that's our Texans. And then that, hey, they listened to us. We wanted H-Town and they listened to it. They snuck it in there somehow. So, and I want our guys to go out and play well and win games. So ultimately, that's what it's all about. But those are the things I'm kind of looking forward to seeing.